We are Intellect. One of our popular slogans we use is become more, and throughout the presentation you'll understand why. So becoming more as an individual in terms of how you grow at Intellect and what opportunities we offer our graduates and in fact all of our employees. So a couple of the nuts and bolts is we kind of refer to ourselves as a people's company who happen to do great software. We're very people focused, but we've also proved that software with great people can actually disturb the fallacy out there that, you know, software development companies don't really deliver that well. And for the last 20 years, we're actually celebrating our 20th year this year. We've proved that obviously that is not the case, and that with a great culture, anything is possible. So we believe that the model that we have has been that we've been able to apply it anywhere in the world. And we've done that quite successfully in our Netherlands office. And we're still growing our New Zealand office, even though our New Zealand office was started before the Netherlands office. So we have been able to replicate exactly what we've been able to do here in South Africa globally as well. Like I said, a couple of the points about Intellect is we're a software company, but like I said, we're more of a people's company that happens to do great software. Established in 2001. Actually changed that figure of intellectuals. We've reached our 1,000 mark already, so that's been a great milestone for us. I think this year alone we've already employed about 250, almost 300 people, and last year during COVID the same numbers. 95% of us are software engineers or analysts, and we include testers, the UX engineers, our data scientists in that equation as well. So the people that form part of our GM team and our leadership team are actually software engineers. They were career software engineers before they moved into management, which is quite spectacular. They also hold all of the interviews. So it's not an HR department that runs our interviews. It's actually our GMs who understand software that hold all of the interviews. What is important to us, first and foremost, it's people. So obviously customers are people, our employees are people, we are people too, and that is what we put first and foremost at all times in our company, and that is extremely transparent at all points. Our customers are obviously important. Without them we wouldn't be here. Quality and innovation, so we really do stress that whatever we build is of 100% quality, and then we also leave time for innovation, whether that's through our initiatives, which I'll chat about a little bit later, or actually on the job stuff. We definitely do believe that innovation is a huge part of who we are. And then we believe that our community is important. We've got our own foundation. It's called the Intellect Foundation, where we give back to our community. In fact, we give more than 10% of our net profit every year back to our foundation. And with the foundation, we actually deal with building homes, housing people. It's not just all about education. It's about feeding schemes, soup kitchens, anybody that needs help out there, we lend a hand. And then we obviously deal with peeps like Girl Code, who you know are on a mission to educate the girls in this country and in Africa. They've expanded into Africa, and then every now and again we deal with the likes of the geek culture and some other communities as well. Our culture, we live by our code, even though you are placed at clients who have their own values and stuff like that. We make sure that our culture is what we carry through. And in fact has been adopted by a lot of our clients because they really buy into it as well. So before we go into our values, what we really look at is working with high performance teams, forming those key relationships with fellowship, growth and continuous improvements. And again, we offer so much around how you grow at Intellect. Autonomous teams, so we don't believe in micromanaging. We want teams to basically go and run their projects how they see fit, with obviously some guidance from their account managers, team leads, tech leads, and obviously the senior leadership team as well. And we believe in that, where it's not just about work, that if you can't take some downtime and you can't have some fun at work, which is, you know, your 8-hour day, then what is the point? So we really do have a lot of socials and a lot of clubs that you can join, as well as experiments that we hold within teams, just to, you know, let your hair down and take the pressure off at times. And we're very much like a family environment. So the types of people we want joining our company are definitely those that are caring and kind and want to lend a hand to others around them. And just to make sure that at any point in, you know, those people's careers around you, that you are there to support them. And we do the same from a leadership perspective. We are always there to support and give guidance. Cool, here are our values. So growth isn't optional. We really believe that if you don't have a growth mindset, you're not going to fit into the company. If you don't want to build relationships around you, whether it's, you know, with your colleagues or our customers, probably not going to be an environment that you're going to adapt well into. And then obviously just getting stuff done. So we drive ourselves by getting stuff done so we can have more of the fun, which is awesome. We also don't believe that having a handful of values that you can't remember or you don't buy into was very valuable. So a good couple of years ago, the company reestablished their values to these 3. That is something that you can really do and wake up and want to do, hopefully, every single day. Mention where we're based. So in terms of our offices in South Africa, we've got offices in Cape Town, Joburg, and Melrose, and so Melrose, Arch, and Joburg, and Pretoria. And those are actually physical offices, and physical offices in New Zealand and the Netherlands and Amsterdam. But as most companies, we are still working at home, and we're very grateful that we can do that and to keep our people safe. And we most recently announced to the company in a state of company address on the 30th of July that we will be looking at pure remote gigs as well. And that will come on a, you know, a case-by-case basis. And since then, we've been hiring people out of PE, a lot of people in Durban at the moment, which is, you know, a market that we weren't really playing in outside of our graduate role, which has really been amazing, seeing everybody working on, you know, the same projects, but based all over. Probably asking yourself what a career at Entelect looks like. So what you can expect is to work with some of the best software engineers in class, your continuous learning, which we will drive, and then direction and career development is important. So we help guide your career and we help guide the steps that you want to take. And we look at doing 2 monthly reviews, 2 yearly reviews. So they're not reveals, they're reviews to discuss your career more than tell you what you're either doing right or wrong. Those are handled in our one-on-ones, which happen every single month with your team lead. So the reviews, like I said, is definitely not a reveal, but more of a discussion about where your career needs to go next. In terms of recognition, we really do believe in that culture. So we have a kudos system where peers can recognize each other. You then win more points. With those points, we've got a store that you can go and purchase stuff in, like Take-A-Lot vouchers, or there's a number of them. And then, yeah, that slogan just becoming more. So we really do try and get all of our people working for us to really push themselves to become more. Just some of our clients that you've probably come across. I'll just give you a moment to look at that slide, but we really do deal across, you know, financial institutions, insurance institutions, cellular companies, mining companies. So really top companies in South Africa is where we play. Yeah, those 91, if anybody doesn't know who 91 was, that was Investec. They changed their name a little while ago. So yeah, expect to be placed on any one of these clients, which is quite cool because at least you get experience in a consultancy with working with different corporations and institutions. Some of the tech we use, And you can just have a look at that slide as well. But we mention this tech because it's the tech that we have delved into across a lot of our projects. But we're not a tech agnostic, we are a tech agnostic company, which means that we don't just work with C# or Java, but we look at the problem at hand and the stuff that we are actually developing, and we choose the correct tech for the project, not the other way around, and try and fit the tech in with what we're trying to build. And we do that in conjunction with our clients. So we work hand in hand with them and make the best decisions for their project. Instead of being dictatorial. We are tech focused. Like I said, we do like to involve ourselves in the community, both internally and externally. So we hold a lot of hackathons. You guys would have, I didn't see you at the on the actual day with the Intellect Challenge University Cup. I know that 1 or 2 teams did register, but I didn't actually see you guys on the day. But there's always next year, so please watch out for the Intellect Challenge University Cup. Teams of 2 or 3, you get to win some really cool gaming laptops, and your university wins a 3D printer from us as well. So yeah, Bits took it this year, and the last 2 years before that, the University of Cape Town, and previously University of Pretoria. So I'm hoping to see UKZN on our trophy next year. So please enter the Intellect Challenge University Cup. It takes place in about August, and it's just a 1-day hackathon. Internally, then we have a lot of beer and techs. So those are just cool tech checks over some beer and pizza, lots of coding dojos. Our Tech Accelerator program is quite unique in terms of we allow our people to work on pet projects or hobbies that they're interested in. And Intellect gives them time every single month to do that out of your work day, as well as money to support any hardware or software that you might require for that project. We then hold 3 hackathons around that. So again, your teams get to work on their projects during these 3 hackathons. And then we have prize giving at our year-end function. And the teams get to walk away with not just 70 grand in cash for the winning team, but also the IP, the intellectual property, remains our people's. It does not belong to Intellect. We just support their hobbies and their accelerator programs. So that is also quite a cool initiative that we run. Dev Days, that's basically our own internal conference, which we hold twice a year. Last year, we took it global because we could in a remote world. So our New Zealand and Netherlands offices joined us, even though it was quite early in their morning for New Zealand, which was quite funny. And there we really just give our people the opportunity to present in a safe space to the 1,000 other engineers in the room. And their presentations get chosen by a panel. So it's quite a prestigious thing to be chosen to talk at our Dev Days. On top of that, we've recently started inviting some cool international guest speakers to join our Dev Days. Most recently, we had Jeff Atwood, which some of you guys will know, founded Stack Overflow. Before that, we had Troy Hunt, the security guy, Scott Hanselman, you might know, and we've had Uncle Bob as well. Slack hubs are run all the time, and then we've got a lot of other conferences that we hold, and then guilds and forums as well. So all of our different roles that we have at Intellect have their own guilds and their own forums, and in there they learn from each other and then pass their knowledge onto the rest of the company as well. Some of the career paths at Intellect, so we basically call these classes. We have everything from your typical software engineering to your business analyst, to your UX engineer, to your data engineer or data scientist, to solutions architects, tech leads, team leads, development managers, delivery managers. QA is the most recent one we added last year. So we've got a cohort of about 20 or 30 quality assurers or testers at the moment in Intellect. So basically we really are, stepping out of that traditional software development house that we have been into full-blown consultancy. Outside of the office, like I said, we like to play as hard as we work. These are just some of the clubs and the sporting and hobby clubs that we have. And if we don't have it, you can start your own club. So there shouldn't be any clubs that we don't have at the moment. But if there's something that piques your interest and you want to start it, we just give you the budget and off you go. So yes, if you're interested in joining Intellect, we only have 40 available positions. We've already filled 40 of those throughout the year. We started recruiting already at the end of February for our graduate program. This is where you send us your details. You can email us, and we require a copy of your CV, a copy of your ID, as well as your latest transcripts from university. They don't have to be originals. The ones on the website are perfect to pull for us. We do look at marks. Marks are important to us because it just gives us a good understanding of how you've grasped the content at university. Our boot camp is run in January. So we kick off on the 2nd of January. I know it's quite early. And that's a 6-week program that we host internally ourselves. And that's run by our people. So a lot of our team lead solutions architects run that. In fact, we won the best graduate development program 2 years ago with HR Awards. So people have tried to buy our program, but we will never give it away because we know that it really does do the job by closing that gap between what you all have learned at university and what we understand real life work to be. So that 6 weeks is really just an intense boot camp to teach you everything that we know and to give you the confidence in stepping into a project that so you feel like you're adding value straight away. And that's us, guys, short and sweet, to the point. I'm going to open up the chat now to see if there are questions, but you're more than welcome to unmute and ask me questions.
Bianca, may I go first, please?
Sure, go for it.
Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. And I know students are very engaged. Excuse me, there are a few questions in the chat, but we'll tackle them after my question. Bianca, can you, in your professional opinion as an interviewer for Intellect, tell us what makes a winning CV? So all of the students that are here today, what would stand out in their CV could influence you?
Perfect. So that's a really good question and a very important question. So we've actually got a full-blown presentation to take students through, like how to prepare a CV, which I can come and do with you guys at a later stage. Just let me know. But remember that CV is the very, very first introduction of yourself to any company, not just Intellect. So really pay attention to how you lay it out. If it's legible, make sure that there are no spelling mistakes. Remember, if you guys are wanting to pursue a software development or engineering career, that attention to detail is vital. So if we find those spelling mistakes, it really does leave a bad taste. So please treat that as like your very first introduction to any company. They haven't met you, all they're seeing is this piece of paper. A cover letter for us is really good because you don't really have that much to show in your CV. You've gone to school and you've now been at university. So on that cover letter, it's really great just to tell us a little bit more about who you are as an individual. Remember in the beginning, I said we're more of a people's company than anything. So showcase who you are to us in that opening letter and what strengths you think you are bringing to the table. We look at a lot of EQ. So that is your emotional intelligence. And like I said before, it's important to us that you understand and that you're able to care. Because we work in teams, everybody is different. We're not all the same, so we expect that level of compassion to come through. And then tell us a little bit about your hobbies. I mean, do you play the guitar? Do you play another musical instrument? Do you dance? do you work in a soup kitchen? Like those are the types of things that you can put on that cover letter where you wouldn't traditionally find in your CV. And then what I say as well is, you know, it was a phase probably about a year or two ago, just to put a picture of yourself on your CV. You know, it's neither here nor there, but if you'd like to go for it, it's always nice seeing the person that you're reading about. It's very much, you know, become, you know, like the remote world where we're all on Zoom and Teams and Discord. You know, it's important just to see that person. In fact, our policy on all of these channels is to have your videos on so that we can see all of you. So yes, I think that would be the advice. Attention to detail on your CV, make sure it's legible, and make sure that the you know, there's zero spelling mistakes.
Bianca, lovely. Thank you for those tips. And I know they're making notes on it. If we look at the chat, we've got a concern here about the number of posts that you have. Well, you say you have 40. You started filling them. How many do you have left?
So we've got 40 left, and we've already filled 40. So we started our grad recruitment program at the beginning of this year. I think we posted on all of our social media channels. So please follow those as well if you want to just stay up to date with what's going on. We've had a couple of grad open days where Intellect actually hosts graduate open days ourselves once a month, and the students are invited to that. So if you do and want to have, you know, attend one of our graduate open days, you can just email me. In fact, I'm going to put this type form. There's a type form link that you can fill out if you want to join one of our grad open days. I'll put that into the chat afterwards. Okay.
Great. There's quite a few coming in.
Sure. So I'm going to try and start from the beginning here, just with the messages. How does one go about applying to the graduate program? Again, here, that's why I've left it up on the screen, careers@intellect.co.za, or you can go to our culture site and use the big blue button called apply. And we've already pre-populated it, I believe, with all of the roles, and there's a graduate role that you click on. So that is how you apply. Again, you need to attach your CV, your latest transcripts, and a copy of your ID. The other question was, do you guys, sorry, I think that was Tukana's message that I just jumped on there. It's fine. Sorry about that. I just went straight to the top of the messages. Can employees, Stillman, CVs?
I think it starts with will Intellect have a graduate program? Oh, that's remote next year.
Yes, so we definitely will have a graduate program. We ran our first graduate boot camp this year, fully remote, which was very new to us, but it worked very well. The graduates were still able to get through all of our content. We ran it with all of the same lecturers and stuff like that, and everything ran very smoothly. So, and that was 67 graduates that joined us this year in January. So they went through a total remote virtual boot camp. If things do open up and we are able to safely go back, we will then hold our boot camp in our learning hub, which is based in Morrow's Arch. It doesn't matter where the graduates are and where they come from in terms of the country. We fly you up and we house you and feed you for those 6 weeks, and then you go back to your respective cities. So that's how that works. What are the options for growth in Intellect, and what kind of projects do the engineers work on? So just plenty of growth. I know that was a direct message, but I'll answer it on the open chat. There's everything from internal learnings that you saw with dojos and beer and takes and coffee and codes, right through to the fact that we actually will pay for your further studies. We've got Pluralsight licenses, Udemy licenses that we hand out. So literally you just continue growing while you're on projects. Types of projects we work on are vast. So everything from building the Vitality app right through to, you know, some of our banks systems that you guys interact with every day on your mobiles or on internet banking. So it really does depend on the projects. Will the Intellect graduate program be remote? Yes, it will. Tech Accelerator is really cool, so thanks for stating that. The projects that some of the people have worked on previously in Tech Accelerator is they've created, so the one was really cool. It was all around pets and finding pets homes. The other one was an employee program, which actually Intellect bought from the Tech Accelerator team members. It's called One Up, and they sold it off to another company called Incentivize, but we still use it. So that was pretty cool. And it's basically that recognition portal I told you about, where you can go and recognize your peers, you gain points, and then you can use those points to go and purchase stuff off of our store. The interview process, I think that's an important question to cover. So a lot of students will ask, like, is it technical? And they get a little bit nervous around that. No, it is not technical. We cannot absolutely, under no circumstances, have a technical interview with a graduate who's never had experience. What we do ask are very lateral thinking questions to see how you derive at answers and if your thinking is on that level. So it's not tricky questions. They're just very logical, lateral thinking questions. We hold these interviews after we've obviously had a look at your CV, invited you to our open days just to, see if, the culture fits is all there. And then the interview is really just, one more step just to kind of like ascertain how you think. So we've already filled 40 positions. That means we are still taking another 40. So we're hoping to increase our graduate intake from our 67 to around 80, but we won't just obviously take students just to fill what we want to set ourselves the target with. We will still make sure that the people that we take onto the graduate program, meet the criteria. And most of you do already, being in, the University of KwaZulu-Natal, because it's number one of the universities we look at because we know that the programs are good. And number two, you're here because you are obviously wanting to become a software developer or engineer with us. We do have, outside of the software engineering graduate role, we do have graduate roles for UX engineers, business analysis, and data engineers. But those are just a handful. So if you are interested in any of those roles, we suggest that you get your application to us even more speedily, because we've already filled most of those, but we will look at you if you are really, really good. So please make sure that you get those in